Hey team, today we're going to talk about leadership with Lieutenant Colonel Travis Habhab. Travis is an aviation officer. He's a graduate. He's a graduate of Kansas State University. Had to get his motto in there, which is good, showing that aviation pride. I like to see that. So graduated from K-State, commanded 1-1 Attack Reconnaissance Battalion out of Fort Riley, Kansas, and he's got 3 deployments: 2 to Afghanistan, 1 to Iraq. He's got a great Army family. He's married to his wife Tara. They have 3 kids, 2 girls and 1 boy. And he has not taken a break after the Army War College. He's heading down to be the G3 of 1st Cavalry Division, Fort Hood, Texas. So he will be working hard and running hard as soon as he graduates. But Travis, you've worked for a lot of great leaders in your career. Who's the best leader you ever worked for, and what made them the best?
Excellent, Eric. Great question. And I always tell all the junior leaders that they're going to work with a lot of really good ones, really good bosses, and to learn a little something from each of them. I'll tell you, I think the best one was General McConville. General McConville, now a 4-star general, now the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army. And there was 2 big things that I learned from him. One was lead by example. He would never ask anyone to do anything that he wouldn't do himself, whether it was flying a tough mission in Iraq, or if it was something back at Fort Hood that we needed to get done around the building or in planning. He was there and he would lead the way. And then the second thing that I learned from him that I thought he was really good at is when we were in Iraq, we fought a very difficult enemy, and the tactics that we had previously had in Army aviation really did not tell us how to fight this type of enemy. And he was really good at figuring out what the enemy was going to do and figuring out ways for us as an aviation brigade to go out and defeat the enemy and not let them get into a routine that was successful on the enemy side of the house. So figuring out what the enemy is going to do and defeat them, really good at that.
Yeah, he's a great leader. We got to hear him at the Army Pre-Command course that I was at just a month ago. General McConville and his wife came out as well, and we had a great session with them. And definitely glad to see that he's a great officer leading our Army as the Vice Chief of Staff. So Travis, if we went back to 1-1 Attack Reconnaissance Battalion, and we asked all the lieutenants, what was Colonel Habhab's thing? What was that hot rock he always talked about? What would that be?
All right. Well, on top of saying attack, they would tell you that I always told them to try hard and have a good attitude. Sounds really simple. It sounds like 2 things that really goes together, but honestly, as a young leader, senior leader, wherever you're at in your leadership career, if you try hard and you have a good attitude, you're going to figure out how to be successful. And in the Army, once you figure out your job, there's a good chance that the conditions are going to change, or you're going to change to another job and you're going to do something else that you don't know how to do. And you just have to keep trying hard and having a good attitude. And if you do those 2 things, you can go on to have a very successful career and lead soldiers very successfully.
And it always sounds easy to do, but the number of junior leaders that actually do it is very few. So great piece of advice there. So you spent a lot of time around cadets. You were the professor of military science at University of Texas. You graduated, went through ROTC yourself at K-State. If you could go back and talk to Cadet Habhab, what would you tell him?
I would tell Cadet Habhab, as he's getting ready to come in, that when he goes to his new unit, his new jobs, to always look for new ways that he can accomplish whatever mission he's given or whatever task he's given. I think when I showed up early on, I thought there was a set way to do things, and I need to figure out what that set way was and then do something that way. But the reality of it is, there's a lot of changing conditions, and there's new ways and new ideas that can help us as an Army be more efficient and get the mission done better and keep our soldiers more happy and more able to do other stuff. So be able to think critically about stuff and come up with new ideas to solve problems and get the mission done.
Yeah, doctrine is the starting point. That's the baseline. But as in the Army, we want creativity. We don't want robots. We want people who think on their feet. And learning that from a young age is vitally important. So as a battalion commander, Apache battalion, what were the things you were looking for in all your junior leaders?
Well, one of the things that I always tell them is that you have to have initiative, using that good attitude that we talked about a little bit earlier. So one of the big things, when you show up as a new junior leader, you're going to be surrounded by a lot of other really good junior leaders. And the way that you can set yourself apart from your peers and be successful is having that initiative and volunteering to do things that we need a good officer to do. And sometimes those tasks, they're hardworking type tasks that make a big difference. And they could be things like running an org day or planning a ball. But having that initiative and volunteering for stuff like that will really set you apart from your peers and enable you to do things in the long run. And that's kind of what separates our good leaders is having that initiative.
Yeah, and that's one of my main things too. So you kind of stole my thunder on that one. I'm always looking for initiative in junior leaders, and that really is what sets people apart and makes their organization better. So finally, aviation is you guys are operators. I mean, you have to actually go out and do what you're talking about and be an expert, a technical expert, even more than some of the other branches. So what are some of the things you're looking for from your aviation officers?
2 things I'd throw out there real quick. 1, be hungry to learn, and 2, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're going to show up in an aviation unit and you're going to strive to be the best pilot that you can be. But it is a complicated task. It takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot of time. And to get good, you've got to keep learning. And you have to be hungry to learn. So learn from the people around you. Don't be afraid to mess up, because you're going to. And then all of these incredibly talented and smart people that you'll be working with, who you will outrank, they have more experience and probably know some ways to get the mission done better than you have. So you have to find your smart warrant officers and your smart non-commissioned officers. You have to trust them. You have to empower them. You have to ask them for their advice on how to get something done. And then you have to make the decision whether or not to accept their advice, and good chance you're probably going to use it to help get the mission accomplished. So be hungry, ask those smart people on how to get something done, and don't worry about making mistakes.
All right, so all you aviation lieutenants out there and all you lieutenants, be looking for Colonel Habhab down at the great place, Fort Hood, Texas, and 1st Cavalry Division.
First team.
And it's gonna be good down there, and those guys are running fast. So Travis, thanks for taking some time today, and thanks for being on Lopez on Leadership.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.